Hey brother! Quick warning, this video will contain spoilers for Avengers Endgame. You have been warned. Thanos is undoubtedly one of the most compelling villains in all of the MCU. Calm, collected, cold, logical, powerful, and determined. He truly lives up to his name of the Mad Titan. But what makes him so scary is that he's not mad or crazy in the traditional sense. For that, you would want the comic version of Thanos, which now after like 6 years of waiting, I'm finally letting myself read, and it is actually pretty good. There you see his mood changing rapidly from moment to moment, from panel to panel, making huge impulsive cosmic decisions because there's literally nothing he can't just undo if he wants. He'll be weirdly happy 1 second and then turning his brother and granddaughter into cubes and ribbons in the next. And oh, hey, wait a minute, now I see why that happened. But movie Thanos is mad in a whole different way. He is on the other extreme of the spectrum. His emotions are steady and his convictions and his beliefs are absolute, which is dangerous because his beliefs are galactic genocide, and worse because he's powerful enough to carry them out. But it's actually even double worse from there, because even if he succeeds, it won't work. Today, we discuss why. Oh my gosh, you guys, I cannot tell you how much I loved Endgame. So much fun. I've already seen it twice and I can't wait to see it again. One of the few complaints I have seen cropping up though on the wider internet is the desympathizing of Thanos in this movie. In Infinity War, he comes across as this humanitarian who, at least in his own head, is the only one capable of making this difficult choice to save the entire galaxy.
I'm the only one who knows that.
He's a character who has suffered the loss of his entire race and is just looking out for the galaxy at large, or well, like 50% of it anyway. He's not out for power, he's not trying to rule, and death is just a necessary evil. But in Endgame, they kill that version of Thanos pretty quickly, like literally chop his head off in the first 15 minutes, and then replace him later on with an older past version of Thanos who is a much more generic bad guy for the sake of being bad, and it's really easy to root against him. And yeah, I get the complaints, like how dare you Marvel kill off this interesting evil genius and replace him with generic bad guy number 76. But my argument here though is that the two different Thanoses you see are actually not very different from each other at all. Infinity War Thanos was never a humanitarian, and as good as he was at presenting his ideas as for the good of the galaxy, he was only ever interested in serving his own ego and pride. And he proves this mentality not when he's a full-fledged bad guy and tells the Avengers he's gonna tear the universe apart atom by atom, but much earlier in the movie when he's alone on his farm and he uses the stones for the second time to destroy the stones. This is the moment when he proves that Infinity War Thanos was not only evil, but he was also a big dum-dum. Not that he doesn't try to hide his true intentions right down to the last second, and he does a good job of it. Right down to the moment they chop his head off, he's saying, "You should be thanking me. The stones represented only power. I had to destroy them. I wasn't going to give in to temptation." Yes, it is a lovely sentiment. He had a mission, he executed the mission, and even though that mission involved him becoming the most powerful person in the galaxy, he never wanted that, and that is why he had to destroy the stones. Problem is, doesn't make sense. Let's talk about Thanos' plan. The inspiration for his plan, as we said earlier, came from his home planet of Titan, which was facing a shortage of resources. He suggested a random culling of the population, a destruction of the many for the benefit of even more, hopefully. Obviously, the good people of Titan were like, yeah, that's a good idea. Here's a gold star. We're gonna put it on the fridge. You go along and play now. Okay, bye. What should we do? Yeah, they didn't go with his plan in favor of doing basically anything other than genocide, because that's just not the answer ever. But the issue is they couldn't come up with a good enough solution, so at the end of the day, Thanos was left sitting there playing with his blocks and ribbons saying, "I told you so!" Or so he thinks. His logic is pretty flawed here. Basically, I had a plan and you didn't listen to me and Titan fell, which means that 100% my plan would have worked, and I am going to totally prove it to you now. There's a trillion people I haven't killed, just you wait. Hamilton was big on Titan too. Thanos big fan. By the way, does anyone else find it fishy that Thanos, the one who had the plan they didn't use, is the only surviving member of his race, and he happens to be trying to prove a point to everyone? Like, we're all in on the idea that he totally killed his actual population of people, right? I know I personally have no way to confirm it, but he totally did it. His logic presents a bit of a false dilemma, though. It's not either or, it's just that nothing they tried actually ended up working. But neither would his plan, and here's why. And let's be clear up front, his plan is stupid because it's genocide. End of statement. But at the end of Infinity War, he succeeds, and it happens anyway, and according to him, it cost him quite a bit.
What did it cost?
Everything.
Everything? You want to stick with that answer? Because it seems like it cost you relatively little and everyone else literally everything. Rest in peace, Gamora. And the Black Order. You kind of had it coming. But so my question for you, Thanos, is did you at least get what you paid for with this tremendous cost? Will you have successfully saved the universe's resources forever with your grand act of execution? And of course the answer is no. All right, everyone, pull out your textbooks and turn to page 394, because today we're going to talk about population pyramids. Now, I learned about these things in 8th grade World G, but I'm guessing they don't teach that on Titan, or that Thanos just skipped that class in favor of his helicopter blade fighting lessons. I mean, I don't know for sure that that weapon was a helicopter blade, but once upon a time there was a thing called the Thanos copter, so make of it what you will. All I'm saying is that somewhere in the MCU, you know there is a tiny yellow bladeless helicopter that says Thanos on the side. In any case though, here's how they work. Population pyramids, not helicopter blades. On the left side, you typically have men, and on the right side, you typically have women, and each bar represents the number of people alive in that age range. And they're called pyramids because, more often than not, they tend to assume this triangular shape, which makes sense. The base is full of children, but as you move further and further up the pyramid, you've been alive longer and have had more opportunities to die, and some people have, so less people. But that's not the only contributing factor. Yes, some people do die, but often the next generation is just bigger because the generation before them had more kids. And I think right away you can start to see the flaw in Thanos' plan. Like, yeah, great, you cut this pyramid in half, but you didn't change the rate at which it's growing. The bars might be half full, but the population is still growing at the same rate. So let's see, right now there are roughly 7.35 billion people on Earth, meaning that post-snap we'd be left with about 3.6 billion. Which, wow, yes, seems like way less people. Captain America even claims to already be seeing more whales in the Hudson because there's less boats on the water, which, hooray, you are really trying to see the silver lining, dude. Although if you want to get technical about it, and you know I do, Thanos snapped away half of all life, including whales, and the average reproductive cycle of a whale is 1 to 3 years, and it's only been 5 years, and they only produce like 1 calf at a time, and yes, a baby whale is called a calf, and I agree that it's totally adorable, but the point is, there probably wouldn't be that many more whales. Either way, I guess you have to try and commend Cap for trying to see the light, but it's really not as bright as you might think, because guess when the last time the planet had that few people on it was? Yes, that's right, way back in the ancient times of 1970. Yeah, not even 50 years ago. Like, my parents were born before 1970. Since they've been alive, Earth has already covered the population gap Thanos wiped out. Thanos, come on, like realistically, at least for Earth, you bought maybe 50 years, which sure isn't nothing, but I'm pretty sure you were trying to save the universe forever, and 50 years in the terms of the universe is like barely a cosmic blink. That said, the pyramid isn't always so straightforward. It can present in a variety of different ways and often tells a lot about the country you're looking at. It might have rapid growth or steady growth or have a stable population, or it might even be declining in population. As you move along that list in that order, you're typically looking at less developed countries and really developed countries. And that first one we looked at with the wide base and the really skinny top is indeed what the Earth looked like in 1970, which is important because this is the population that doubled in 50 years. But we're not starting with that, we're starting with the 2019 pyramid, which looks more like this, a much more stable population. So you might think, oh wait, does that mean we're actually only cutting a stable population in half, that the Earth might remain at a low population because it wasn't really growing that much? Absolutely not, because guess what happens after there's a tragedy on a global scale in world history? Population booms. Look, here's the end of World War II. You can literally watch it travel through time. Or if you want to look at the other big culling of the world population with the bubonic plague, you can look at it on pretty much any chart. It's the only time in history like the world population has significantly dipped, but guess what? As soon as it was over, right back on track. Which brings us back to Mr. Inevitable himself. I am inevitable. No, you're not. You know what's inevitable? The repopulation of the planets you have already destroyed. I mean, you started this 25 years ago. In that time, the populations of some places have probably doubled. Your stupid plan, which is stupid, would require constant maintenance over millions and millions of years. Which I guess if you had the Infinity Gauntlet, you could probably manage to keep yourself alive and do over millions of years, but you didn't even make it 1 month, dude, before you destroyed your only tool. Like when Doctor Strange asked you what you were going to do next and you said,
Watch the sunrise on a grateful universe.
what you should have said was work hard every single day. This is going to be a long haul. But he doesn't say that because he doesn't care about helping people or saving the galaxy or watching the sunrise on a grateful universe. Because first of all, if you actually cared about any of that, you wouldn't be committing genocide. And second of all he actually cared about was proving that he was right, which he wasn't, because he skipped 8th grade World G. Thanos was never a brilliant, cold-hearted, logical humanitarian. He was only ever a big ego with a big stick and a dumb plan. Ben, my question for you and everyone else is, what did you think of Thanos in Endgame? Personally, I still really loved him as a villain. Let me know your thoughts in the towel section down below. Hey guys, just wanted to let you know about a brand new perk we're offering over at the SuperCarlinBrothers Patreon page, where when you sign up at any level at all, you'll be getting a personalized video welcome message from Ben and myself. We hope to see you over there. Guys, thanks so much as always for watching today's video. Please remember to leave a like on it if you haven't already, and subscribe so you don't miss any future Marvel action from us. If you want to see our full Endgame review, you can check that out right here. Or if you want to see which Infinity Stone is the most powerful, you can check out that video right here. But Ben, that's all I got for you today, man. I will see you in another life, brother.